Okay, I'm coming here with the last big push of spirit. This is not any advice for taking the test rather than telling you how to be within yourself at this moment. I had a student last night ask me how she could calm herself, even though she knows that she's ready, but she feels so freaked out. And I thought two things. One, I'm on TikTok, available to everyone. And yet my students who pay me, they don't go there, mostly because they just want to hear directly from me. But I'm going to speak this out into the universe because I think everybody needs to hear it. In some big picture way, this gate opens up for you at the point that you're ready to enter into it. And so some people have been held up or snagged by it before. But either way, if it's your first time taking the test or you have taken it before and not succeeded, just know that this process is traumatizing for everyone. And a trauma, this doesn't have to be a negative connotation. It's just an impact. So if you've prepared for a bar exam, you started off in one version of yourself. And at the end of that process, when you're about to walk into the test, you are not that person anymore. It changed you, which is as it should be. So some of what you feel that you question and that makes you fearful is just the magnitude of what you're about to do. And you should be feeling that, or you miss something. So don't freak out because you feel like something big is about to happen. It is. I like to crunch these numbers for all of you because you feel in your life, in your bubble, that it's common to be taking a bar exam and you're just a common lawyer or lawyer to be. But lawyers, people taking the bar exam, that's you right now at this moment. People taking the bar exam are 0.0008% of the population. So if we compare that to people participating in some Olympic event that will lead to the Olympics and the Olympics itself, those are hundreds of thousands of people a year versus 66,000 people taking a bar exam. So we have 0.0008% of the population taking bar exam and 3.75%-ish. I'm just going to, we can't fully calculate. Some people back out at the last minute of their trial in their games, but it's somewhere, there. 0.008 versus 3.75% of two rare populations. So I want to give you that because you're not seeing it that way. You know a lot of people who went to law school. Maybe there's a lot of people who are lawyers in your family, and somehow you think this is common, or that if you fall shy of it, you are inferior. But you are rare. It is rare. So it is hard. It should feel hard. It shouldn't be paralyzing, but it should change you. So kind of on the other side of it, there's something about you that is no longer the other person that just threw their cap in the air at graduation. And that person was altered by law school. You went in there with some innocent belief of what this was all about to be. And I think I can be sure that on the other side, something different happened in there. I know for me, I had a really romantic idea of law school, not having any point of reference. And on the other side, I was, subject to so many undoings of my belief in myself that I had to kind of recouple myself on the way out, which I did, but I still felt a certain innocent euphoria. After bar prep, because you're exposed to all of the things you don't know, it's a little bit less innocent. And you're walking into the test maybe a little jaded. And I hear some of it, law school didn't prepare me for this. This is a ridiculous amount of information and all of the whining that people do. But honestly, I felt so grateful to be taking the bar exam. I didn't really feel in some way burdened by it. I felt blessed. I know that might sound hokey. Depending on how you got here, you might feel differently. But I just think about all the Olympians getting up every morning about to jump into a cold pool or put their running shoes on and run the track before the sun comes out with some hopefulness that is probably not going to be met with a success. There are very few winners. Even in the trials leading up to the Olympics, there are so few winners. So you have, an 80%-ish chance of passing this first time, which is almost perfect. It's pretty high. So I want to give you that because you might lose perspective about that, although you need to be humble. You don't need to be terrified. And you have to remember that this thing is supposed to be hard, so you're up for what it requires. Anybody denigrating lawyers have no idea the steps it takes to get there. You have an idea. So I just want to remind you that when you're getting ready to go in and take your test, you are not fully that yet. But when you come out the other side, I hope it feels like, I can't believe I just did that. I don't know what happened in there, but I am so incredibly proud of myself. And then you just need to wrap yourself up in some, layer of unbelievable self-regard. It will give you what you need to live out the weeks it waits to get your results. And depending on what jurisdiction you're in, it could be months. But I find usually like after 3 days, people burn out from trying to play out all the scenarios about what went wrong or what they could have done better. And then they go back to their life, and somewhere soon after you go back to your life, your results come out. This day is not results day. That is its own day. That is meant for you to do something with the information. But when you're taking the test and you complete it, you get to be living into a space of high regard and pride apart from the results if you do everything that you can. So one thing I think that's really important when you're doing prep is to have no regrets. You can fall apart, up through maybe today. I've seen a lot of people fall apart and they freak themselves out about it. Like, what does it mean that I'm falling apart? It means you're about to take a bar exam. So it's as scary as you think. It should kind of test your psychological resolve because of the bigness of it. But today, up through the end of the test, you may not fall apart. And as much as possible, you should contain your emotional register. I've given you lots of permission to fall apart up until right now, where you can't spook yourself. I've been telling people what to do, and this is not that kind of a talk. Right now I'm telling you how to feel about who you are so you can go do this thing. So we don't fall apart today or tomorrow or in the test, because that can spook us. So we need to retain a certain degree of, measured expression of our feelings. They are kind of irrelevant at this point. You have to go in there and perform. And imagine the Olympian getting ready to kind of lock his shoe in the cage of his, position, getting ready to kneel down onto the track. In that test, when the gun goes off, you're going to feel a flood of chemistry that is intending to save you from some immediate harm. And the beauty of that is it tends to take you out of your body so that you can do the thing that you've prepared for. And when you're in that moment, you want to be continuing to fight for yourself so that when it's over, you can say, I don't know. And if you did it right, you're going to say, I don't know. But you should, and I know I did, feel really proud of yourself. You are one of a very, very rare number of people who did all the things that qualified you to take the bar and who finished a bar exam. It is unbelievably rare in the numbers to be taking a bar exam. So if it's freaking you out right now, and I'm saying this right to my student, who, bratty as she is, none of my students watch what I say to all of you for free. You should be afraid, but also a little bit euphoric that you're at the point where it's about to be over. You're about to go test yourself in the world. And then when you live into that, you have everything it takes to be qualified to take on the harder task of being a lawyer. Okay? The gate will open up for you at the point you're ready to step into it. You can make that right now. Debbie Sanders, Bar None Prep.